As Moldova celebrates independence, the battle for its future intensifies. European leaders arrive in Chișinău to back President Maia Sandu's push toward the EU, while Moscow's hand stirs unrest through mercenary camps and pro-Kremlin blocs. With elections just weeks away, the stakes are clear. Europe promises peace and sovereignty. Russia wields pressure and sabotage. Moldova now stands at a dangerous crossroads. Moldova President Maia Sandu welcomed the leaders of Germany, France and Poland in Chișinău on August 27th to mark Moldova's Independence Day. The visit of German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and French President Emmanuel Macron took place 1 month before Moldova's parliamentary elections scheduled for September 28th. According to an opinion poll published last week, Sandu's pro-European Party of Action and Solidarity could see its majority of 61 seats in the 101-member assembly slashed to no more than 41. Sandu, a fierce critic of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, said on August 25th that Moldova's path to EU membership was irreversible. The Weimar Triangle leaders aim to underline support for Moldova's sovereignty and European path, at a time when EU capitals are weighing whether to open the first round of accession talks with Chișinău. The grouping, formed by France, Germany and Poland in 1991 in the German city of Weimar, promotes itself as playing a significant role as the driving force of the enlarged European Union. The Élysée Palace said that President Macron's visit will reaffirm full support for Moldova's security, sovereignty and European path. Ahead of the 3 European leaders' visit, Moldovan President's office in a statement to AFP said,
"This is a show of support by European leaders for Moldova as Russia ramps up its interference activities ahead of the high-stakes elections."
Sandu and her European allies have repeatedly accused Moscow of attempts to destabilize the former Soviet republic that lies between war-torn Ukraine and EU and NATO member Romania. A vocal critic of Russia, in particular since the start of its invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Sandu has been steering Moldova through official EU accession talks that started in June 2024. At a landmark summit in Chișinău, in the presence of the European leaders, the Moldovan president delivered her sharpest message yet, tying her country's fate directly to Europe and drawing a stark contrast with Russia's war in Ukraine.
Let me say it clearly, there is no alternative to Europe. Without the EU, Moldova remains stuck in the past. We feel it with every bomb dropped on our neighbor. The cruel war waged by Russia against Ukraine shows us daily, Europe means liberty and peace. Putin's Russia means war and death.
The 3 EU leaders in Chișinău on August 27th reaffirmed their support for the country.
We will do everything we can to open the first negotiation chapters for EU accession this autumn. Germany will continue to send experts to support Moldova's reform policy. We are providing tangible assistance with European and German resources. And things can still turn out differently. The people in this country, in Moldova, feel this. And they feel this a month before the elections, which could be decisive for the fate and future path of their country.
Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk echoed Merz's call, stressing Moldova's central role in Europe's security and praising its firm choice to break from the grey zone between East and West.
Your resilience, your commitment to values, and your voice will enrich the entire Union. Simply put, there is no secure European Union, no secure Poland, no secure France, and no secure Germany without an independent and secure Moldova. Today's Moldova is no longer a country somewhere in between, a middle ground between different worlds. Today's Moldova is a country that has chosen its direction and is moving forward.
French President Emmanuel Macron underlined the contrast between Moscow's aggression and Europe's vision, framing Moldova's EU bid as a choice for peace, law, and sovereignty.
While a few hundred kilometers from your capital, the war of aggression, unleashed by Russia against Ukraine, continues to rage, it is also essential to remember that European integration is, for Moldova, a clear choice in favor of peace and law. The Kremlin's propaganda tells us that Europeans want to prolong the war and that the European Union oppresses the people. These are lies. Unlike Russia, the European Union threatens no one and respects the sovereignty of each individual. It is a union where everyone decides to enter freely, sovereignly, and where the sovereignty of all is respected. It is a union of prosperity and peace.
They were also supposed to attend an official function of the country's Independence Day on August 27, 2025. The political analyst Valeriu Pasha of the Chișinău-based think tank Watchdog told AFP.
The visit is really a strong sign of support, and it is a symbolic message to Russia that top European countries care and follow what happens here. It was the first visit of the so-called Weimar Triangle leaders together in Moldova.
In Moldova's upcoming elections, among the 21 groups registered by the Election Commission are two blocs with broad support. The Patriotic Bloc, including socialists and communists who want closer ties with Russia, is projected to win 36 seats, while the Alternative Bloc, accused by the government of concealing a pro-Kremlin bias, is projected to win 13 seats. Sandu won re-election last year over Stoyanoglu by a 10-point margin, but had to rely heavily on the votes of Moldovans living and working outside the country. A referendum endorsing her EU membership campaign cleared 50% by a narrow margin. On August 26th, Moldova's Office for Combating Organised Crime and Special Cases announced the arrest of 3 Moldovan citizens, aged 27, 36 and 50, who trained in Republika Srpska in August 2024.
The purpose of the training was to prepare the organization of mass unrest during the presidential elections and the referendum in Moldova in autumn 2024. The men from the cities of Chișinău and Craiova, aged 27, 36, and 50, were arrested in Moldova on August the 26th.
Their names were not made public, but it was stated that they were already known to the police and had previously been convicted of various criminal offences. One of them was described as the unofficial leader of anti-government protests linked to a banned political party. Moldovan authorities further added that the suspects were recruited for training in Bosnia, where they learned to operate drones, study government and diplomatic buildings, analyse crowd psychology, and prepare for violent confrontations with police. According to the investigation, the detainees were paid between $300 and $400 for each training module, with the money provided by an individual who is currently in Russia. This person, who was also not named, is said to have coordinated the activities via a Telegram group. Authorities said the men, already known to police, included an informal protest leader linked to a banned pro-Russian political party. They allegedly studied Moldovan government buildings and embassies, learned crowd psychology, and received training in clashes with police. Investigators tie the operation to fugitive oligarch Ilan Shor, a Russia-based businessman and former leader of the outlawed Shor party, accused of masterminding subversive campaigns against Moldova's pro-European government. This marks the second round of arrests tied to the Balkan camps since October 2024, with 7 people indicted so far. While Moldovan authorities have acted swiftly, Bosnia and Serbia have responded hesitantly, underscoring regional gaps that Moscow continues to exploit in its hybrid warfare strategy.